Hey guys, it's your girl B, and I am sitting here doing my planner and trying to organize my month of June because I am so behind. And the reason why I bring up my planner is because I have been going through my DMs on Instagram, and if you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me. My Instagram tag is at youreadyb underscore underscore, and my business Instagram is at not just nurses. And so I was going through my direct messages, and I get in a lot of messages from nursing students asking me how is it that I held down a full-time job in nursing school. And let me tell you, honey, it was not easy, but I had to do it because I didn't have the help, and I had bills to pay. Car note, I had insurance, I had to have an apartment. And I didn't go to nursing school in a place where, I could live with my family because my mom would probably have let me live with her. But I went to nursing school 4 hours away from home because I went to college and got my first bachelor's degree in Hampton University. So I moved to Richmond and I went to nursing school there, and I was 4 hours away from home. So you got to eat, you got bills, you got a cell phone, you got these things that you have to pay for. So I absolutely had to work. And so when I was first accepted into nursing school, the nursing school I chose was an associate degree nursing program, and the school was geared towards working adults, which I think is funny because in my nursing interview, the first thing they said was, "Oh, we don't want you to work." And I told them, "Oh, that's probably not gonna work for me, but okay, your preference is your preference and mine is mine." It wasn't like they did a background check, like, "Ooh, is she working?" But they were recommending students not to work because the program was so vigorous. At the end of the day, it was grind time for me. I had already failed my first nursing school and got a degree in psychology that I wasn't planning on getting in the first place. So this was my second time around and my second chance to be great and do nursing school, but I had to do it while I was working. So my first job was actually a mental health technician at a hospital in Richmond, and I was working PRN at the time, which is pretty good because when you work PRN, you can set your own hours. And pick up where pick up where you want to pick up. It's not like you have to work a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. If they say it's a 12-hour shift open, then you can pick up that 12 hours as a PRN after full-time and part-time has gotten their hours. And so if you're looking to work, maybe PRN might work for you and you don't have to do a full-time schedule. The reason why PRN didn't work for me is because when they started beefing up their staff full-time and part-time, all of those hours go to them. And so I was only getting, 8 hours here and maybe 12 hours there, and it wasn't enough to supplement and pay my bills and make sure I eat. And so because of that, I applied to a position as an ER technician. Now, working in the ER was the best thing I could have ever done, ever. And most times they are looking for paramedics and EMTs, which I was not. But they liked the fact that I was in nursing school and I was learning. And a lot of people who hire PCTs or ER techs like the fact that you are working as a nurse because they'll make sure they groom you and get all of your CPRs and ACLS and different things like that, so that when it's time for you to become a nurse, they'll be the first people to offer you a job or tell you to apply to their new grad positions. So it's always a good thing. But working in the ER really taught me a lot of things, but it wasn't easy because I had a full-time position and I worked at night. So when I first started, it was easier because I was in the beginning of the nursing program. You only have maybe one nursing class and one day that you do clinical, and the rest was, like A&P or patho or something like that. So with that being said, I was able to balance my schedule a little bit more. But like I said, I use my planner because if there's one thing that nursing school teaches you, it's to be organized. So I use my planner and I wrote down everything. What time do you go to class? What time are you having a break? When you get out of class, what time are you eating dinner? What time are you studying? What time are you taking a nap? When is self-care? When do you have to work? I wrote down all of that and I lived by my planner. It got more difficult because, you know, as you go up in the tiers of nursing school, you start taking 2 classes at a time. So you might be taking, you know, mental health and peds and OB or something like that at the same time. And with that being said, now I not only had to go to class, but I also had 2 clinical days. So I might have class on, you know, Mondays and Wednesdays, and then have clinical on Tuesday and Thursday or something like that. And so it cut my schedule down a lot. And I never worked on the days or worked into the days that I would have clinical. So I never worked a day before clinical, and I never worked the day of clinical, because being a clinical, you had to be there sometimes we had to be there from 8 to 5, and then as you got up, you might have to do 10 hours. So you're there from 6 to, you know, however long, 6 to 4 or something like that. And if I worked, you weren't allowed to work overnight, because those hours counted. And if somebody found out that you worked the night before and worked and then did clinicals, you could get in trouble and even be dismissed from the nursing program. So, you know, for those of you asking me about working, I would just refrain from working the night before. If you're going to do night shift, I would refrain from working the night before if you know you have clinicals that day. Especially because, you know, being tired kind of clouds your judgment, and your preceptor can probably pick up that you're tired, you know, or you might not be on your A game that day. So what I would do is I would work the days that, you know, I had class, and then I didn't have clinicals the next day or something. And so sometimes I would go to class all day, leave there at like 3, go home, sleep for maybe 2 or 3 hours and take a nap, and then I would go to work and work 12 hours. And so, you know, if I had class the next day, I would just stay up, and then my class maybe was from 8 to 12 or something, or 8 to 10:30 or something like that. So I would stay up, go to class, stay up for those 2.5 hours, and then go home and go to sleep. It was very, very difficult. I think the whole time I was in nursing, I just was, you know, just so sleep deprived. And I know people who didn't have a job and just was sleep deprived. And majority of my class were either moms and wives. So not only did they have a family to take care of, they have a husband too. So kudos to them, because I don't even know how they were doing that. Like, I know me working was difficult, but them coming to school, having to study, you know, change diapers and do all of that, it was crazy. But when I think in hindsight of the experience that it gave me, working in the ER set me up for the greatest experience that I've had. You know, I already had the experience of giving somebody CPR. I already knew what death looked like. I knew, you know, what the cardiac problems looked like, so it helped me on my test. I was around so many nurses and doctors who didn't mind giving me pointers and tips or different things about my papers to write, what direction I should go in, when should I start applying for jobs. I had all of those necessities working there, and it just was so great because, you know, I came out the game knowing how to do IV starts. A lot of nurses on the floor, and I know because I worked on the floor, I'm in search floor, but a lot of nurses on the floor didn't know how to, but weren't super proficient at starting IVs and stuff like that. So I worked on the cardiac med surg floor, and 50% of the nurses weren't great at starting IVs, but I was, so I had a one-up. Okay, and then I already knew how to read rhythms and stuff like that because we had to read our own cardiac monitors in the ER that I worked at. So I'm already one up on that, and just so happens I worked on the cardiac med surg floor as one of my first jobs. So I knew that already. And then, you know, I was a beast at doing Foley, so it wasn't no Foley that I couldn't put in. I don't care if it was a female, you had weird anatomy, I don't care. I had already done it. I knew how to do it. My CPR was A1, so I had a lot of experience, you know. So did I lose sleep? Yes. Was I in grind mode? Absolutely. Was my bills paid? Hell yeah. So my bills is paid, I got the experience, I got to show my skills in my clinical, and I got to apply the knowledge that I was getting from work to the things that I was learning in class. And so it really just helped to mold my nursing student experience as a whole. But like I said, and I'm gonna show you guys how I go through my planner and everything like that. But you know, my planner is really it looks like a book, and the reason why it looks like a book is because I actually ordered the wrong size planner this year. But I use plum paper because I love plum paper, and I've been using it for the last 2 years. And the reason why is because I can design it the way I want to. I can put my credentials, you know, I have my company here so everybody knows who I am. And then, you know, I have different things in my book. So I have, you know, just the month-to-month stuff, and there's goals in there. And then I also have bill pages so that I can budget. I have blog pages so that I can think out my blogs and what I want them to say. Giveaways for not just nurses, just different things like that. So I would really suggest you getting a planner, you know, that's great. Okay guys, so I wanted to give you guys a preview of what my planner actually has in it. So this is plum paper. It has my company name on it, and then it has my name and my credentials on it, and this is a 2018 calendar. So I'm gonna flip to June, and in June you can see it has the goals here. It has birthdays, events, things to remember, and then this is actually where I spread some stuff out. So this is where, you know, I write down my stuff, and, you know, discussion board for school. I'm trying to be more consistent with my YouTube videos, so I'm doing that. And then also stuff for not just nurses, just posting nurse spotlights. And then, you know, I started a new job, so I just wanted to be able to put that in there. I also wanted to be able to show you guys the different other stuff that my planner has in it. So I like to budget as well. So I have a bills page here, and I can write all my bills down, due date, and notes. Different other things that I have in here because I knew that this year I wanted to be more organized with my blog and my YouTube videos. So I have all of this here. So blog monthly overview, what the month is, post ideas, which you want your blog goals to be, things to do, post schedule, and different things like expenses and the stats for your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's very, very good to have this as a new entrepreneur, since social media is just, you know, so important to being successful. So I have all of that stuff. Also have like blog post ideas and stuff like that, things that people write to me, direct messaging and stuff like that, so I can write that down. So it has that, and then I have giveaways and reviews, so things, products that I review on, like I've received things like facial care and teamy blends and different things like that, so I can go in here, figure out what the giveaway is, what the company is, and who I sent it to, who's the winner, all that jazz. Advertising and sponsors, so if anybody ever wants to advertise with me, sponsor me, have that here. And then another blog annual planner. This is basically a condensed pages of what the other blog posts were. And then you have a yearly overview, different things like that. Holidays, contacts, just different things like that. Now, my plum paper planner did cost me about $40+. I did get a coupon for 10%, so that really helped me out. But I know people are like, I really don't want to spend that much on a planner. You don't have to. I know going to Michael's, they have some pretty great planners, and they have the sticker pages where you can go in and put your stickers in, but I have stickers for my book as well. I also know that a lot of nurses and nursing students like Erin Condren. So if you like that, they also allow you to put pages in there. So whatever works for you. But I don't think working as a nursing student is a bad thing. I think if you get a job as a PCT or a CNA or working in a medical office where you can, you know, take the knowledge that you're learning and apply it, it works for you. But the key is to stay organized. Use your planner, write everything down, and give yourself time to rest, give yourself time to eat, map out your study time, please, because it is so important to be able to complete your assignments, you know, map out your study time, still be able to get those good grades in nursing school, and work and everything like that. So I thank you guys for listening. I really, really do hope that this was something that you could take with you and show everybody. That was my personal journey. If you want to follow me, like I said, my Instagram is at youreadybee__. My business page is at Not Just Nurses. And if you haven't liked or subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so now, because I'm going to be hitting you with videos every week about my nurse practitioner student journey, different things that I've learned on my job, how I've been able to get these jobs, just different things like that, and whatever else you guys may be looking for. So stay tuned, like and subscribe now, and I will put the plum paper link in the description box, and so you guys can be able to go and get yourself a planner. Yay! Thanks, guys.